Warning, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of either the host or guest. Nothing is a one-size-fits-all. Always read and follow your local hunting and fishing guidelines. It may contain coarse language. The Game Trail Outdoor Podcast, Episode 3. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. In this week's episode, I talk with Darvin, my brother, from RottenDuck Outdoors. I guess he's not the sole guy there. Him and my brother-in-law have a channel. But I wanted to sit down with him. Monday was our opening day of archery season here in Manitoba on the 29th, so he managed to get a few sits in. I have not had the opportunity to get out and hunt yet, but I wanted to talk to him a little bit and see what his season looks like and if he has any shooter bucks or kind of his plan, I guess, for the season and, you know, as it comes up later, going into the rut and some of his strategy that he's going to employ over there. Yeah, it's good. I love sitting down and talking with him. He loves hunting. He loves talking about hunting. He's a very knowledgeable guy. Half the time I forgot that we were even on a podcast. I thought I was just talking on the phone to my brother, and I'd have to rein myself back in because I forgot. But yeah, it's still a good, really good episode. Kind of catch up a little bit, reminisce a little bit about growing up, and talk everything from, you know, eating carp to, you know, shooting a decent deer. They have a good deer on pattern he'll talk about in the episode there, and I don't know if they have them on pattern, but they have a deer they're chasing. They got pictures and videos of them and stuff, so that was exciting. Kind of got me fired up. Hopefully I will be getting out here this weekend. I'm hoping. The weather has not been ideal for the situation in which I'm hoping to hunt. It's just been really hot and the wind hasn't been right. Actually, we had 2 days now where the wind was decent, but then I had work obligations, so I wasn't actually able to make it. But hopefully this weekend I can get out and film some videos. I want to put some videos up on the channel here of this year's deer hunt. I have a guy actually joining me. He's going to be hunting with me and helping film, and I'll be able to film him, so that should be pretty exciting. I'm bringing in a new guy into the sport of hunting, so stay tuned. This is a good episode. I hope you enjoy it. As always, welcome feedback from any of you guys. If you have any guest suggestions or stuff you'd like to see on the podcast, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll see what I can do to make all that good stuff happen. Thanks for coming by for another one. Enjoy this sit down with Darvin. Let's get right to it. Hey Darvin, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good.
Yeah, good. Man, I'm glad that I could get you on here. You took time for me.
Hey, it's my honor, my pleasure. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope I didn't take you away from like any potential hunting or family time.
No, you're all good. Not
good.
This evening.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. You're a busy man. You're hard to make time.
Oh, it seems like there's always something on the go. That's for sure. Got to prioritize the important things, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, hey, would you do a little introduction for yourself, say who you are, and maybe give us a little backstory on when you started hunting and all that?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm Darvin Teichroeb. Basically, my dad was always an outdoorsman and hunter, so he took us hunting when he could. We grew up in Pennsylvania till I was 12. So I guess I grew up there. Basically squirrel hunting and the odd whitetail hunting with my dad, with my family. And when I was 12, we moved to Manitoba, and kind of when I really started hunting for myself. And yeah, it's kind of when the passion started, I guess. I've always loved the outdoors, anything outdoors. So,
yeah, well, you know, that's kind of funny you say that because that sounds a lot like my story. It's almost like we're brothers or something.
Yeah, it's almost like we're brothers. Yeah, I never said that. I guess I'm dad's brother. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I thought you were hunting. You were hunting already. You were talking about it.
Yeah, I guess I sat out there opener, August 29. I went archery hunting here. And had a little bit of action. Went out in the morning and in the evening again with my wife, so that was fun.
Yeah, I saw the picture of that. It looks like a good time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was the first time she was in the archery stand with me, so that was good.
Is that a two-man stand that you guys were in, or did you have two singles hung there? I couldn't tell by the picture.
Yeah, I'd like to hang two singles if possible. They're so much easier to set up. Just one ladder, right, or one climbing stick, and then just two singles up there.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's the story there in that one. I guess we do have a 2-man stand on the bear bait, but for whitetail hunting, it's just so much easier.
Oh, that's awesome. I wasn't sure. I was looking at that picture and I couldn't figure out if that was a 2-man stand or 2 singles or what, but that's awesome. I was glad you guys got to go out at least. I haven't even had a chance to go out. I mean, yeah, like you said, it was 29th was our opener.
Yeah.
I have not had a chance to get out yet, which I guess was Monday. We're filming this on Thursday evening, so it's been a few days already. But for me, it's just not been ideal. Temperature, like weather-wise and everything, it's just not been great. And I had to work, obviously, too, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like weather has been pretty warm, eh?
It's been really warm, and then like kind of the way I got my stands, like you know where I hung that in that poplar tree there, like where we had looked earlier in the spring.
I do, yeah. Yeah.
It's not great. Like I have to have a northwest wind to be able to hunt that stand, and I don't want to blow out my other areas on that property, so that's kind of the stand I wanted to do for early season. And I kind of have to have, either a west or a northwest wind to hunt that stand, and so far today is the only day that I've had that. So.
So it sounds like I'm keeping you, yeah.
But hey, man, on Saturday night it's supposed to, at least for here, it's supposed to drop down to 8 degrees overnight and then slowly warm up in the morning. So, and be clear that morning. So Saturday morning might be the time to get out by the looks of it.
That sounds perfect. Yeah, I decided to try like on opener here. Like it wasn't ideal conditions, but I'm like they were calling for a storm coming up around 8:00 in the morning, and legal shooting might start right around 6. And so I'm like, maybe they would be, out feeding until the storm hit. And I thought, hey, I had a chance, so I figured I'd push it. But since then, I just haven't had time either.
Yeah, totally. Are you hunting? So were you hunting like in a staging area, or were you sitting on the edge of a field, or what's that stand setup like?
Yeah, so the land that I was hunting is just like a little 70-acre plot, and all around, like the one side to the west is all bush, and on the east side there's a farmer, and so normally they're feeding to the east, and they're traveling through our property. It's a staging area for these deer, and then they go bed. Some bed on the edge of our property, and some bed in the crown line across the road. So I'm kind of set up right in the middle there, so I like to catch them on their way back from the field.
Oh, that's fair enough. That makes sense.
So usually, it seems like morning is the best bet for that stand. In the evening, they're not. It seems like they make kind of a loop, and they don't really come back this way to the field. It's mainly in the mornings when they head back to the bed.
So where do you think they're browsing, right? Because they don't just sleep all day. They're coming out and feeding. Where do you think they're browsing?
I think if you do an all day sit there, which I haven't been able to do much, I think they're browsing there as well. That you're kind of like, because there is a good chunk of bush between the field and where I'm sitting, so it seems like they're just kind of meandering their way back to the bed. There's lots of browsing. There's a nice, there's a fence line. I'm sitting close to a fence line, and so the adjacent property has cut a nice, open up a nice strip of bush there, so some native forages come up and grasses and stuff, right? And they're often just foraging as they're heading back. They're never really in a hurry. So
nice. Well, it sounds conducive to at least get your eyes on something.
Yeah, it's kind of a challenge to the neighbor also hunts, right? So yeah, we often see pictures of the same deer, and I find out he'll shoot a deer we have pictures of, or we shoot a deer he has pictures of and stuff like that. But it's good to at least have a good relationship with the neighbor and be able to, a little plot of land like that doesn't really hold much for deer, but it's a good place to see them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, at least like you said, you have a good relationship, because I have a good relationship with my neighbors on my 100-some acre piece there that I'm hunting. But I don't know. It's a good relationship as in we're friendly, but it's not a good relationship as in I can't tell them anything, because this last year, I told them about a 5x5 that I had pictures of, and then, which is great, but the loving boyfriend came to work one day and was showing me pictures of it, and I was a little bit heartbroken. But I don't own the deer, but they had no idea it was there until I opened my mouth and started talking about it, and all of a sudden they're running cameras off, kind of the edge of their bush that borders mine. They're starting to get pictures of them. If I would have just kept my mouth shut, they would have never saw them probably, but whatever. It is what it is.
That's the hard part, eh? You don't own the deer at all, but it's they kind of use some of the information that you provided, and then start creating a plan for that. It's kind of unfortunate, But like this neighbor that we had, he's so nice. There's a little 4x4. I shouldn't say little. He was decent. And I was hunting one day with my bow, and it was during rifle season, so late season. And he told me that he had seen it from his blind that morning, that I could go sit in his blind if I wanted to and see if I could get him. So like, he was a super nice, friendly guy.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you have any good shooters on any of your showing up on camera on any of your properties, or have you got eyes on any deer that you're chasing this year?
There is a buck that we're chasing. By we, I mean it's between, like, we have I guess I should back up a little bit. My brother-in-law Randall and myself, we started a YouTube channel called RottenDuck Outdoors, and so there is a buck that we have both seen like earlier in the spring when he was still growing his antlers, and now in the last couple of weeks we got more video footage of him just from the road, and so we've been getting some permission on land where he's been hanging out, and we're trying to create a plan to get this guy. So it looks like a very decent buck.
If you had to take a ballpark guess, where would you guess him at?
You know what? It's honestly kind of hard for me to guess. You mean in inches?
Yeah.
I would guess maybe 130s. I don't know. Maybe that's a little, something like that. Maybe he seems decent out. We've just seen it in velvet, right? So once he comes out of velvet, it's a little hard to see sometimes. But
yeah, that's what I would have probably assumed too, just by looking at the pictures. But yeah, he's a really nice, really tall.
Yeah, he's nice and tall. Yeah.
I mean, that looks like some 10-inch brow tines on that thing.
I'm hoping.
Who knows? Maybe not, but it looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. I my property, we've talked about this before, but my property, I don't hold bucks at all during the summertime. I mean, I got 175 acres there that in total, because there's a chunk that I can't hunt, that I don't have permission on that piece.
Right.
And I just have never asked. I don't even know if they're hunters actually, but anyway, I can't hold deer there all summer. So I get kind of all, I try to stay calm and stuff, but everyone's posting pictures of all these velvet bucks and these pictures, and then I'm like, well, I got, I know my doe groups. Like, I got my doe groups, but I don't really get into that until I'll start to see them normally when they start getting hard horned. About this time of year, they'll start showing up, or in the next, week or so, they'll start showing up on camera. I'll get one here, one there. I got a little 6-point that I was watching last year. Nice. That 5x5, and then I had some random cruiser buck that came through, but I know he got killed too because I saw pictures of him down the road. But but I actually, it's funny enough that 6-point that I passed up last year, saw him a couple different times. I saw him. I got my first picture of him like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Like clockwork, exactly where I got him last year, and the same trails. And it looks like he's still a 6-pointer. He's still a 3x3, but he grew, and like, it doesn't look any wider or much mass. It's just a little bit more height. So like, he got taller than he did last year. I expect him to put more on. Like, I'm still not going to shoot that deer, but I expect him to put more on this year. But he just, I don't know. I was a little bit maybe it was a different deer at first, because I was so surprised at how little he put on. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure the same guy, because he has this one. The one side, for whatever reason, has ribs that you can see really well, like on his right side. Like, kind of almost like he got hit by a car. There's some damage there. And this guy had the same thing. So I'm certain it's the same deer, but he hasn't put much on it. I thought maybe too that's from maybe he did get hit by a car and he's just not showing out. He's been injured the last year or two, whatever. But
it's possible, or bad genetics or something like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That reminds me of the one buck I had on. I haven't seen him now. That was last fall, I guess. He had some huge growth growing out, like kind of like his brisket area, like right at the base of his neck. Just a humongous growth, almost dragging on the ground like it was giant.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's funky looking, yeah.
I should throw a picture in here. I'll throw a picture on the podcast and so that people can see it. Like, that's so weird. I've showed a few people that too, and they're like, well, I've seen like small pus pockets and stuff from injuries, but most people have never seen anything like that.
Yeah, no kidding. I know that's what a few people have told me too. Maybe it's, he got, poked with something like on a fence and he got infected, or, maybe he got grazed with a bullet or something. But I've never seen anything that big.
No, no.
I'm like, that's just crazy.
It's like it almost is dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I sent it into like the local conservation office, but they never responded to me or anything. But
You know what? I think they're so short-staffed. I mean, I don't know about your guys out there, but like out here, they're so short-staffed. There's no way they can do everything.
yeah, oh man, it seems like I agree. They have a humongous area to cover with only a few guys.
Yeah, it is ridiculous, and like with the amount of like in the time like in this area where I'm living here, like the amount of people that I found that have bait deer, or someone will bring a buck in and show the antlers. They'll do like a Euro mount, and it's like the antlers are held on by like the size of a Smartie. Like they're falling off. Like, I know that doesn't happen till late January, or it's not looking like that till then. But but they never get caught. You don't really see conservation out that much. They stick to more of the crown land out here anyway.
Yeah, they do here as well. Yeah, absolutely. I guess they're kind of limited what they can do on private land, eh?
Are they?
Maybe I have the wrong impression. I understand that they kind of need like permission to enter private property.
Really? I'd have to look into that. Interesting.
Without reasonable cause, right? Like I'm thinking with reasonable cause they can enter, but
see, I didn't know that. I thought they could enter. I thought they could just enter just to walk on it and check. They didn't need probable cause to enter a property, but I might have that wrong.
Yeah, I should be more confident on this too, but I'm not. I know there's just one local conservation officer around here that there's always good and bad in every group, right? And he's one of the guys that he'll kind of get you if he can. So he tries to get permission everywhere, and then he shows up in the middle of your hunt. Or I have a friend who he tried to get him to discharge his muzzleloader after legal shooting hours. Like he held him up there talking with him until after legal shooting hours, and then he told him that he couldn't travel with a loaded muzzleloader, so asked him to discharge it. So once he did fire it, then he tried to write him up for it. So
good grief.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, hey, like I know there's good and bad and everywhere, right? But
oh yeah, I know, but that's still bullshit. That's entrapment. That's not good.
Yeah, no, that was frustrating. But
that's a goal for this podcast. I'm hoping to get someone from conservation on and just talk to him and ask him about some of that stuff and about what the conservation plan actually is for out here and kind of the CWD thing, because my area here where I'm hunting, we're one of the CWB compensation board over here. But no, we're CWD. one of those zones. This at least on the one spot.
Mandatory samples or whatever.
Yeah. So we got samples, and so I'm curious, like maybe after this deer season, get someone on to see what those numbers look like and how they actually monitor that. Because from what I understand, they have to I don't understand how it's even possible, because they have to get that sample tested within 48 hours of it being killed, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
With the amount of deer that are killed, and we're a 2 deer the area where I'm hunting, we're a 2 deer bag limit, antler now. So if everyone tags out, which we have massive deer numbers, I mean, how do you do that, right? But,
yeah, no kidding. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be super interesting to hear from that perspective, right? Like I don't know much about that.
Yeah, because I mean, I think they do a valuable part. I just kind of don't have a lot of respect for some of the stuff. It feels very political to me instead of conservation. Yeah. I would like to see.
Totally. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. But are you bear hunting? Are you bear hunting this fall?
I'm planning to. I guess my dad and myself have kind of gone together, joined forces to set up a bait site. It's a site I've had for 6-7 years. We've set it there for a long time, and we put it out, and we're hoping something hit it. I checked it Saturday, and nothing had hit it yet. So it's a bit of a different year again, because a lot of the fields didn't get planted because of the rain, right? Mm-hmm. And so the fields right around my chunk of bush that I have my bait site in, which normally that's where the bears hang out, is on the field, and then I just give them dessert kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so now that the feed isn't there, I think they might have moved on. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take much for them to be able to do that. Podcast I did with Brandon there.
Yeah.
I don't have it in that podcast. We didn't talk about it, but he was telling me that a bear, and I might have this exact number wrong, but a bear's home range is like 60 some miles.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, so like, I mean, that thing is long gone. If there's better food 10 miles down the road, I bet you they're gone. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I need to go check it. It's been about a week and a half now, so I need to go check it and see if some has hit it.
Yeah, what are you running in that barrel?
Oats and molasses, and then we have a bunch of fryer grease. Hey, some of that we actually got from you, I guess.
Yeah.
And my in-laws actually had a bunch of apples, and so I'm using a bunch of apples, and yeah. I make this concoction. I call it fish juice. And so
tell us a little bit about your fish juice. Go into detail on that.
All right. So basically, my fish juice. How I make it is in the spring is my favorite season for bow fishing, suckers, and carp out of our ditches here, right? Like, because with spring melting, they spawn coming up our ditches from Lake Winnipeg. So I love bow fishing out of the ditches, and so I take those carp or sucker or kind of whatever fish I have on hand as far as that goes, and I basically just take a machete or an axe and I chop them up into small pieces, or just cut to pieces, I guess, and I throw them in a sealed container and let them sit in you got to be able to release the pressure, but let them sit in a sealed container in the sun all summer. Come fall, that is all completely broke down into a liquid, and that stuff is rancid.
Oh, yeah.
I mix it with a bit of water and just let it sit. And wow, that stuff is bad. But I usually just try to, splash some of that as high as I can on a tree, or dip a rag in it or something and tie it up into my bait tree as high as I can to get that scent out. And I just put it out once in the beginning to get the bears initially coming. And then the last you want to smell that stuff.
Well, it probably gets expensive because you probably have to burn your clothes and take a Clorox bath after doing that.
You do not want that on your hands. That's brutal.
Oh, man. Did you save that monster carp that you caught this spring and chop them up?
No, I didn't actually. What's that?
You ate that carp.
I did eat one of them. Yeah, I did.
How was that? Sorry, I'm totally rabbit trailing here, but what did you do to it?
So basically, we just kind of fillet it like you would a normal fish, and we cut out all the dark meat. And that was a 25-pound carp, so they had some big fillets on that thing. And and so the rest of the meat, we brined it overnight in like a brown sugar and salt, pepper, different spices like that. And then the next day I smoked it for like 5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And it turned out all right. I mean, carp to me still isn't a fish that I like. If you put a lot of love and care into it, it's edible, but it's still something I can't hardly get into my head yet to eat it.
Yeah. Well, didn't Mom used to can carp and then like pressure can it to preserve it?
Yeah, and the suckers in the spring sheets do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the suckers there. Yeah, that wasn't terrible if I remember right. I don't know. It's been a lot of years, but.
That's not terrible at all. Honestly, like in the spring when the sucker run comes up, the water's still like really cold. Mm-hmm. And I don't mind those suckers actually. It's surprising how much difference that water makes. I mean, these carp were up here later in the year and the water was warm and they just tasted like mud.
Yeah, that's terrible. I love eating like pickled herring.
Okay, yeah.
I wonder if you could do the same thing with like suckers in the spring, like pickle them and eat them that way. So that would I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be worth a try. I'm determined to figure out a way that I like carp and suckers. I don't know. It's such a trash fish. I feel like there's got to be a good way to eat it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
think you're up. I think you're better off chopping them up with a machete like a savage and rotting them over time.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Use it to kill a bear and then eat the bear. That's the circle of life right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so much more off of bear.
Oh man. Oh, that's great. I'm not bear hunting at all this fall. There's no way. There's no way I got the time, and I don't want to put energy into that. I told you a little bit before we were on here, or whatever. I told you over the last little while, but I actually have a guy that wants to that I'm taking kind of under my wing, so to speak. Really good
Yeah.
friend of mine. He's never hunted before in his life, ever, and
That's gonna be awesome.
yeah, he's never even thought of hunting. Like it's not even something that he was like, well, maybe I would try that one day. Like it was just so not his thing at all. And then when COVID happened, and they were like, where was that? I don't know, somewhere east. They were saying he had to be vaccinated to even go to the grocery store. So he's like, you know what, I'm gonna start killing my own food. At least I know where it comes from, and they, you know, whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is funny, which is kind of ironic because he's vaccinated, but.
Yeah, I guess it gets you thinking or something, you know.
Yeah, I love you, Eric. He's probably gonna listen to this and hear it. He's like, "Oh, that guy's talking shit about me." But anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna teach him kind of, you know, take him as a new hunter, which I find super exciting. Like he went out and he bought a rifle and he's got a scope on order, so we're gonna sight that thing for him and yeah, get him out gun hunting. And I want to bring him out archery hunting with me too here in the early season. And he doesn't have a bow or anything, but he would love to come out with me. So I'll probably get him on the camera and see if I can't, get him to do some early season stuff and see what happens next season. So that's gonna be my focus this year, is getting him. I really want to get him on deer. That's my goal. Like I don't even care at this point. I just really want to get him, have a good experience. So.
Once he pulls that trigger, I'm pretty sure he'll be bit by the bug. I mean, it's addicting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he loves guns. Like he got his POW, and I think this is his second gun that he's buying now in the last little bit here. So he loves guns and stuff. But I think I can get him into hunting, and I think he'll love it. Yeah.
Right on. No, that is awesome. That is awesome. I love it. Like, and especially just having someone to go with and do stuff with, that makes a huge difference. Like I know a lot of guys who are interested, but they have no one to go with, or they don't know what to do and know where to start. Right.
Well, and that's my thing is like I love, you know, I'd love to bring someone into the sport, right? Because I think that's how we preserve hunting, is by introducing people to it that love it, right? Because that's more voices to keep the sport going. But I am so, and in the same breath, like I am a hunter, and like I'm super protective of what I do, right? Like, I have a certain way that I like to hunt, and I have a certain places that I like to hunt, and I know where they are, and that's about it, you know. So it's hard sometimes to find someone that kind of hunts like you. So I saw this as a great opportunity. One, that we're good buddies, and two, you know, he's totally new. I can teach him what I know, and he can figure out his own stuff as he, you know, gets more experience and stuff, and I can trust him, and we can share spots and all that. So I'm really looking forward. I made him some deer jerky before he came over. We sat down and talked a little bit about it here, like on the weekend or whatever, or was it last week? I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he ate the deer jerky. He's like, "Oh, this is good, man." I was like, "That's a good way to start eating deer meat. Make it jerky."
Yeah. Everyone loves deer jerky. You know, like you can't go wrong with deer jerky.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I know what you mean. It's hard to find a hunting partner that hunts the same as you, or thinks the same as you, or, you know, looks at land management, or however you want to, whatever area you want to put in there, that does it the same as you. I mean, it's so hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely it is. You know, I heard a guy say this, and I kind of somewhat some truth to it in a sense. My wife's not so sure, but he did that, and I kind of agree with it. It's harder to find a hunting partner than it is to find a wife. With a wife, at least you can make sacrifices. Us hunters are so passionate, we can't give up anything for someone else.
Oh man, I probably did pretty good that my wife was out there in the stand with me here Monday.
Then you got the best of both worlds. You got a hunting partner and a wife, so then you win.
Oh, exactly. Hey, that is a win. Yeah. Oh man.
I just talk about hunting too much. I try to get my wife. My wife's like, I used to like hunting, but Michaela's like, I don't like it anymore. That's all you talk about. You come home from work and you're talking about it. It's like,
oh, Talisa says as soon as, you know, like hunting season rolls around, the relationship just kind of, you know, slowly fades, and hunting kind of takes a lot of priority.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, I try to find a good balance, but my problem is I do talk about it too much. She's like, why can't you just get excited for it when October rolls around? I'm like, because it's not gonna work.
I know what you mean. Yeah. No, I know. It's not that bad in my house that the wife. I try not to let the wife and family suffer. You know, it's just like you don't. But it is something that
starvation is okay, but like full on suffer.
Exactly.
No,
makes that deer meat all the better.
Yeah. No, I try to play that. I try to balance that very, very well because one, I want to be there for my family. So for me, like I don't hunt near as much as I would like to or would probably do necessarily because I want to spend that time with my family. 2, I don't want to make everyone in my house hate it because I want my boys to be hunters, right? And I want to bring them in, especially as they get older. Like I brought Abel, like my second oldest, last year there. So hopefully I can get them out hunting with me again this year and whatever. You know, I want to foster that. I don't want to just be this hardcore guy that makes them get up for a week, you know, of Sundays, you know, at 4 a.m. to get into the stand. Like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is one of the things that's kind of challenging. I mean, I don't know where we're going from hunting to like family trading, but like with my children don't like hunting, that's going to be something that's going to take some getting used to, you know. Like, gotta let the children go decide their own thing. But you know, I've always dreamt of being in the stand with my boys.
Yeah, you know what? That's different philosophy, man. I'm getting them into hunting. I don't care. We're not playing hockey. Sports are out of the question. Oh man, no, I don't know.
I hear you. Yeah,
but, yeah, that is definitely a challenge. You know, and that's something I'm looking forward to as well with Eric here too. Is it gives me the ability to kind of like almost learn in a sense, kind of like what hunters can take because he's not as like passionate, or I shouldn't say he's not as passionate. He's not as hardcore yet as I am. Like he doesn't know what it's like, right? He hasn't been in the wood. He hasn't been hunting at all. I mean, he's shot some rabbits on his yard or whatever. Like he hasn't been out hunting.
Right.
So, I want to make it a fun experience for him. You know, I want to be able to have breakfast and get out there and, you know, and like, you know, but then it's like, okay, well, how do I make that work? Because we both can climb the tree stand and sit there quietly and get eaten by mosquitoes. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll see if we can't throw up a ground blind and hunt that come, you know, the end of October when the hunting starts getting real good on a piece that I have permission on. And we'll sit there. You can have a coffee or we can chill out, you know, to make it a fun experience for him and hopefully still get something.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think as experiences grow, kind of the passion grows too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
And the nice thing is too is like he's not a hunting. He didn't grow up watching people kill big deer on TV. So for him, he just wants to shoot something with good meat, right? And if it has antlers on it, even the better, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
So that's great. It'll give him opportunity, and I'm sure we can get it done for him this year.
Nice. Well, I definitely hope so. Yeah, I definitely hope so. That'd be great. I'm looking forward to see pictures.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. I'll be super excited. I mean, I got deer numbers on that 170 acres. I mean, I got does on does there. Too many does actually.
Just thin them out a bit.
Yeah, and but the thing is, Darvin, that I find very interesting about that property is that I have the same does every year.
That is awesome.
Like, I mean, there's lots I don't recognize, but there's always like 3 or 4 that I do recognize, and one always has a fawn. Almost every year has a fawn, and this year has a fawn again. And she's a mature doe, and I'm sure that's why my place lights up when it does, because I have some early. They come into estrus pretty early on my property. Like I think I'm totally certain, but I think they're like a day or so ahead because I always get bucks cruising through earliest, a day or two before my neighbors across the road even get pictures. Nice. So I don't know. I guess they just come check that bedding area and they check down my side of it, and that's kind of where I try to set up. So
yeah, it's true. I guess like a lot of your land is bedding area, right?
Oh,
like you have that swamp there, and then.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, like in our land here, the piece I was talking about earlier, that is, I noticed that too. We had this one doe, and every year she had, I shouldn't say every year, but there for a couple of years she had twins every year, and she had this scar kind of on her side, so she was very recognizable as well, and it's super nice to see that.
Oh yeah. Did you know? That's a good thing to know is when those does come into estrus and when the bucks start chasing them, because that's genetically passed down to the does of that fawn or the fawn of that doe. Did you know that?
I actually didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
So
like, wow. Let's say a doe comes into heat. The early doe. Let's say you're lucky and you have a doe that comes in like the first few days of November or whatever.
Right.
When she has a fawn, if it's a doe, female fawn, that fawn will come in within a day of that, or with the same day of the mother doe.
Is that
so,
right?
Yeah, so if you can watch on camera and you can start seeing when the bucks are chasing a certain doe and you can get that history over, that's why a lot of guys or I've fallen into the trap of chasing does instead of chasing bucks, because once you can find those does that come into heat early. You see the bucks chasing them on camera. You get pictures of them or whatever. You watch those ones with doe. Those aren't the ones you harvest, right? Because those are your early does. Because those offspring, the females, will come into heat at the same time, so the bucks will keep coming back in that early, beginning of November stages. Whereas if you shoot that doe and you have one that comes in the third week of November, well, those bucks might be cruising 5 miles from you because they're out checking the early does, right? So
interesting, yeah.
If you watch those does, it's generational. They'll be handed down doe to, fawn to fawn to fawn in the female.
I never realized that. Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah, I learned that on the MSU webpage, like Mississippi State University. They have a deer lab there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they've done some tests there. And another thing I thought was interesting is a lot of the time, I forget what the percentage of the number was, a doe that carries twins,
Yes, yeah.
the twins are from 2 different dads.
Is that right?
Yeah, very rare, very, very seldomly. I forget, and I have to look up these numbers for sure, but very seldomly is that twin from the same dad. That doe was bred twice and had twins from 2 different dads.
Wow, now that is interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I never knew that.
I'll have to send you a link to that website. It's like I love checking that stuff out.
Absolutely. I knew they do a lot of different research. I mean, I've listened to some podcasts. I think you actually spoke that podcast to me about deer vision and how they see, and that was like a lot of info from MSU as well.
Yeah, I think that was Dr. Strickland as well. He's the one that is
it was
all those studies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting. So then, So then, do you use scent, any like estrus scents or anything like that in your property?
I have tried using estrus scent. Like, this will only be the second year I'm hunting the 170 acres there or whatever.
Okay.
So second year of history, so I don't have extensive knowledge of it yet. I have a good understanding. But last year I tried to use a little bit of just like a doe and estrus synthetic stuff, because we can't use the real deal here, right?
Right. Only synthetic.
Yeah. So I tried that, and I just don't know if I don't know what was going on, because when I killed my buck, I had done like a drag.
Okay. Yeah.
And he came to that drag and then just stopped, sniffed, and then just stuck his head up and looked straight at me. So yeah, and that's why he had stopped in that bush, was because of the scent there. Or I'm assuming it was the scent. But he didn't, mind it at all. And then that little button buck, he walked up to it too and just walked right past it, like as if it wasn't even there. So I don't know. I didn't have any luck with it this last year.
Yeah, that is interesting.
The only thing I had follow it was a doe.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was a group of does, but one doe in particular kind of followed out into that little meadow where I had my stand set up early season last year, and followed out into that doe and then got buggery. I'm sure it could smell something, but.
See, that is one thing I've had, it seems like does, whenever I had a scent drag out as well, they always got nervous. Yeah. They were always get, fidgety, or, they were always on edge once I had that out. But, 3 bucks that I've shot were all down scent drags. For me, I've had really good success in my bush there with scent drags.
So what kind of scent are you using, and how are you doing the drag?
So basically, I was kind of experimenting with a few different ones. I wasn't all that particular, but the one that I used the most and that seemed to work really well is Code Blue. Code Blue estrus scent, so an estrus, and then I would just put it. So you can get these little scent wicks or whatever for hanging in a tree. Yeah. I would basically get one of those, tie it onto a string and onto a branch, and then on that branch I would just pull it down the deer trail, crossing. I would cross as many trails as I could. So if I'm on again, this is where it gets kind of controversial, because I know it's ideal to have a stand where you can enter and exit without ever crossing a trail, right? Or so you can go in and out with leaving as little residual scent as possible. And so, but then I would just walk down the trail that I'm sitting along. I would walk down that trail, crossing as many other trails as I could, and leading it right in front of my stand where I wanted to shoot them. And they would just follow that on. They were coming on a string. I've had multiple bucks come in on a string, just right down the trail. Yeah.
What time of year are you using that? When do you start implementing doing a drag like that?
Usually that was October-ish, kind of. Look, when there's a few does in heat, but the bucks are kind of fired up already. kind of rutting already, but there's not that many does in heat.
Yeah.
And then all the way into like peak rut.
Interesting. I'm wondering if maybe I wasn't just a little too late when I started using it, because I only started using it during the gun season, and that was the second week of November this last year.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
I wonder if maybe, I don't know, maybe most of them were already down with those. I don't know, but
yeah, maybe there's kind of like two ruts, eh? Like there's the main peak, and then it kind of comes up again.
Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting year for me. I mean, I didn't really notice that much rutting activity, other than I noticed a lot of bucks checking out does during that 2 weeks of November there. But other than that, I didn't really see much rutting activity going on, which I thought was a little bit weird. But
yeah, that's one thing I was super happy to have seen. Like not last year, the year before, when I shot my buck, he was out there. I got to watch him like running around chasing does, and that was a super good experience.
That is cool. Yeah, the best I got was, you'd have a doe going through on camera, and then the next picture was a buck hot on the tail.
Nice.
Pictures like that. But again, no, not anything monstrous shooters. Some of them were actually quite dinks. I don't even know how they were, in the freaking gene pool, but but it was still cool.
Hey, yeah. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited to get out. I'm going to get out this weekend for sure. Hopefully the weather cooperates for Saturday or Monday. I'm not sure. Sunday I have plans. Dad's coming out here, but we'll see. We've got one of the days this weekend.
Yeah, definitely hope so. I'm excited to see what becomes of it, what experiences you got.
But
I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm not sure if I'll have time this weekend because of work is picking up. A little bit busy here for the next couple of weeks, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. It's just so hot that like I'm not real hurt about putting that time in yet. I don't want to burn out any stands this early.
Yeah.
So if I get the opportunity, I get a good day, then I'll go in. But if it's like marginal, I'm just not going to bother doing it yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I guess we have kind of a few little pieces of property scattered around. So the one I'm hunting now is kind of our archery piece. So since it's surrounded by lots of other properties that guys hunt, we're trying to kind of keep it as an archery spot. So that once rifle season comes around, all the neighbors are rifle hunters, that it can kind of be a bit of a sanctuary for me.
Yeah.
And so then, like the wind there, it's obviously we want the ideal wind before we go sit, but it's I don't want to put too much pressure in there yet. But it's come rifle season, we can easily just back out, or muzzler season, we can back out and head to one of our other properties.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just really want to kill something with my stick bow this year. This is the year. This is the first year that I'm actually going to be hunting with it. And
oh man, I hope you do.
I really want to get it on video. That would just be fantastic. But if it comes down to video or getting a deer with recurve, I'm gonna take the deer. Cause
absolutely.
Man, I've been shooting a lot. I shoot every day, and like literally every single day I've been shooting now for the last few weeks just to make sure that I'm dialed in. And
nice.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I feel 85% confident in it.
Nice.
But until I actually get the opportunity to put an arrow in something, I'm not gonna feel 100% like I can do it. But yeah.
Sorry, what's that?
No, I mean, I feel like I can do the shot. I feel like I can make the shot in my yard. It's just now getting it to the actual, hunting aspect of it. Because, I mean, as you know, I get wicked, buck fever. So if I can manage to keep that under control with a stick bow, then I should be fine. But I just got to make it happen once, and then I'll be good.
Absolutely, yeah. That's something I've always wanted to. I just never actually got into the stick and string. Like compound is just kind of where I started, and I love it. But the stick and string, man, that's something I've always wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun, and if nothing else, if I don't get a deer this fall, then I'm for sure going to shoot a bear this spring.
Nice.
I mean, willing that I got a bear on my bait, but yeah, like that, because that would be ideal for me, like especially with me getting the deer, like buck fever, or target panic, and then with sorry, I just drew a blank because my cat is running around here again. I figured out how it gets out, though. It's climbing out the screen window. I guess there's a rip in it. Trying to get back.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious.
You
But,
gotta love it.
Yeah. But with a bear, at least I have time with it on a bait, right? I can get my nerves under control and then, control my breathing, and it's not like have to feel rushed at all, right? So that would be nice.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's one super nice thing about bear hunting. Like, I absolutely love it. You just sit there and watch them.
Yeah.
Get that breathing under control, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my problem. Well, anything else you got coming down the pipe?
Well, we're hoping, like, I guess we're just going to continue chasing that one buck and hopefully a bear this fall. And besides that, we'll see what next year brings.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
No, I off the top of my head here, I can't think of anything too major. Hopefully between me and Rhonda, we can get some good footage this year. That's kind of what we're hoping to, like, boost our video quality and time out there, I guess. But,
yeah, that's the thing. Is we all got busy lives, have families and stuff. It's hard sometimes to get all that time in, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, I always want to prioritize my family over my hunt. If that means a freezer filler for the year, then I guess I do that. So.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with a freezer filler anyway. I mean, like, I know, like, everyone says that when they go, oh, well, I hunt for meat, but, like, I get lucky here because I got 2 tags, so I can shoot a freezer filler, and then I can, have a chance of shooting some horns. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Matt, I appreciate you coming on. Maybe I'll have to have you on again a little bit later in the season, or, depending on how your season goes and my season goes, maybe we'll have to get together and kind of talk about, hopefully we'll be talking about some dead deer next time that we have a chat.
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
We also got to put something in the works for another turkey hunt, maybe come this spring.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah, I appreciate you taking me out this spring for my first time, and that was a super good experience.
Yeah, at least we got to see some birds.
Absolutely, yeah. And we had a relatively close call on that one.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we had turkeys gobbling. We had it in range. We just couldn't get on it.
Yeah, we had that one at 30 yards. Just not quite there.
Not quite in range, I guess. Yeah, but yeah. Well, Matt, I appreciate it. So your channel is RottenDuck Outdoors. Is that correct?
That is correct. RottenDuck Outdoors.
Well, you heard it from the man. If you guys are looking for some good hunting material, they got videos up. There's some old videos from bear hunting, deer hunting, wildlife videos, all that good stuff is on there. Go check it out. I'll put a link in the description of this video. And for sure to go over there, check it out, give it a subscribe. They also got a Instagram handle that's the same thing. Go check that out. They're going to be putting up more content. I know they have some videos coming down the pipe that are going to be in the editing phase. Some different kind of stuff. I'm not totally sure. I'm not going to speak exactly what they're going to put on there, but I got a little insider information. But thank you, Darvin, for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time.